If you want to make money with this fast-moving field of AI, this is for you. Now, as a disclaimer, this video is not about how to use artificial intelligence to do your job for you, but instead it's more of a mindset video to understand how to leverage AI to make yourself more profitable. Now, I'm going to lay out a few ideas on how I think AI is best leveraged in this current meta to make the most of AI. So the first one is to augment your skills. The current capabilities of AI aren't going to replace high quality workers, and I'm not even sure if it will in the future. Although it could be argued that you could develop very complex algorithms that fulfill the need for a certain market demand that meets mass market appeal. But anyways, currently right now with AI, it's simply to augment what you can do. And many of us are familiar with ChatGPT. ChatGPT, the language-based model where you can type into it in natural language and it spits out whatever answers that it thinks would fit best with your calculations or with its calculations based on probability and weights of certain tokens that you're submitting to it. So with that, it's essentially really just a robot that you're chatting to, and you're able to use that technology to grab and access a lot of data and information. Same with a lot of different AI technologies out these days, is that you give it an input and it's able to calculate what would be the best answer to your input. For example, if you're working with a logistics company, you could give it a certain input and it will give you like maybe the best shipping schedule or the best delivery options, but it really boils down to what work you can do. So for example, I use ChatGPT a lot when I'm writing and when I'm trying to expand on certain ideas. And as I'm expanding on these ideas, I had to originally come up with those ideas first. So I couldn't just go in and be like, hey, give me 3 ideas on what to talk about as I'm making certain videos. I have to think of that idea. I'll go in, I'll give it that idea, and then I'll ask it to expand and maybe give me opposing points of views, different points of views to consider, or different ways to phrase this so that it's more easily understood by a lot of people. Now, this also expands to the creative side of using AI. Whereas back in the day, I used to have to edit and do all these different things in my edit, and it would take a lot of steps. But now with certain AI technologies, you're able to bypass a lot of those tedious tasks, giving you more time to do the important things, such as making that production look a lot better. Now, the next point is to make money with AI, you need to understand where you deliver value. And we've been seeing the rise of a lot of AI consultancies because they already have a market that they're already delivering value to, and it's proven that their model works. Now, with AI implemented into that, they're able to scale their operations up significantly. So for example, if you're a programmer, you could build these AI models for certain customers that are able to let them access a lot of information or a lot of different strategies or whatnot that they need, whereas before they would have to manually consult the person that they're working with. And depending on the complexity of these AI models, maybe there's a team that is programming this AI model, and then since it's so complex, there is a team that is going to help the client understand these models and how to prompt these models to make the most out of it. For example, that's why there's a big need for prompt engineers for some of the biggest firms, like you'll see McKinsey or some of the big consulting firms look for prompt engineers, and that's because they have language models that they need to access certain data from to help their clients succeed or whatever KPIs they're trying to hit. So they need to access this data using a language learning model, and this prompt engineer is going to help them get there. So if you think about it, there's a couple steps in there where people are providing value along the ladder. Like McKinsey to its clients, they're helping the client access certain information. And then from the employee at McKinsey to the person that's delivering that information, that prompt engineer is building out the framework to get to access that information. And then before that, the person that builds that language model so that the prompt engineer can access it, that's another person too. And then potentially before that engineer is building it, there's somebody that is considering what types of data and inputs that are needed for this language model. And then potentially there's a data scientist or something before that too that's saying like, these certain terms should have more weight, or these other terms have a certain type of weight, and when they all work together, this is what's going to come out. And that's a whole algorithm and formula that someone is deciding. Now, the third point that I see, the biggest gold rush in making money during this AI boom is leveraging time saved. So whoever is able to understand how to use certain AI language models or image to videos or image generation models, essentially any models that lets you have one input to receive a significantly higher amount of output is where the value is at. And you could call these people prompt engineer, but I'm not quite sure what it really is, because you could be a consultant that's doing this job as well. And the reason why this works and is going to get you paid and is going to generate income is because there is value provided in shortcutting time spent, because time is money and people will pay good money to save time, especially people who are working with a ton of money. That time is one of the biggest factors and most important factors so that they can go and make more important decisions to move more money. And if you can shortcut their time, then they're obviously going to pay you, because that's a no-brainer. And right now there's this arbitrage opportunity that lets you access so much information and value based on a small output or a simple output based on what you had inputted into the prompt. So for anyone out there that is potentially who used to do SMMAs in the past, like social media marketing agencies, it's a good time to consider how AI can improve the efficiencies of a certain company. Now, those are the few things that I see as very straightforward on how to monetize with AI. We'll be digging deeper into this topic, so make sure you subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.